Alright, so today I want to talk about the differences between your 12, 16, and 20 gauge cartridges, what you'd be using in the field for hunting, and why you would pick one over the other. So, the first one I'd like to go over is this 12 gauge pheasant load here. It's made by Remington, 2 3/4 ounce and a quarter 5-shot. Pretty standard, what a lot of people use for their pheasant hunting. And I like 5s and 4s. I don't really like the 6s. I find that the 6s at some of the ranges, especially if you're hunting with labs, you're not going to get that knockdown power at range. Not to say labs aren't good hunting dogs. They tend to flush a little bit further out than what pointers do. I've hunted over both. I like them both. And moving on to the 16 gauge, I bought the 16 gauge in October. I bought one of the new Browning A5s, Sweet 16s. My grandpa has one of the original Belgium made ones, so I thought it'd be interesting to get the new one and see what it's like. And what I've been noticing through a lot of hunting cartridges is you're not getting any difference in your length, and your ounce is so minuscule, and your velocity is practically the same. You're going to have the same range and power as your 12 gauge standard number 5s. Now, this particular Fiocchi is copper plated, but I haven't really found any differences between that and normal lead. They say it patterns better, but I haven't actually tested that out, and I like this Fiocchi, so I'll keep it. And with this Winchester, over here on the left this is your 20 gauge cartridge. This is number 6 shot. Like I said earlier, you're not going to have as much knockdown power at further ranges than you would with the 5 or even 4s. But as you can see, your ounce shot is 1 ounce, and I think that's pretty light. I mean, whenever I think of 1 ounce loads, I'm thinking like my 12 gauge targets are like 7/8 to an ounce, what I use for skeet and trap. And in the field, I like that a little bit more than an ounce, because I feel at the further ranges, which you standard get whenever you're pheasant hunting, I like that. So if I had to pick one for all around hunting and anywhere you go, you'll be able to find ammo, it's going to be the 12 gauge, because you're going to have you can walk into Walmart and buy this. Now, I have seen 16 gauge at Walmart, but it is the Winchester Super X, and I found that unless you get the box that looks like this, but it's 16 gauge, the other type of Super X doesn't cycle as much. It probably doesn't have enough powder or the same quality in it. I'm not sure. But this 16 gauge would be my second pick, because you're not really losing a whole lot of shot pellets per cartridge as you would for 20 gauge. But at the same time, you're getting a lighter gun that you could carry all day. But however, like if you're in the middle of South Dakota and you don't bring enough ammo for some reason, and you run out of the 3 boxes you took with you, you're not going to be able to shoot or go into the store and get your 16 gauge ammo that you like. And so that's why I would recommend 12 if you're going on a trip. But if you know you're in an area, like if you're hunting at your own place or something, I'd definitely recommend the 16. It's a really awesome carry gun, and it's awesome to shoot and really light. And with the 20 gauge, it's a very good youth cartridge. I know somebody might say 410, and now 28's getting popular again. That would be good, but I'd say if your kid is 9 or 10, start trying to get him used to 20s, because he's going to have more success in the field, or she, when they're hunting for pheasants. So next, I'd like to talk about steel shot. So these are the non-toxic options for each of the 3 gauges, and this is where I would differentiate between the 16 and the 20. First off, I live in an area where 16 gauge is, I'd say, pretty popular. We can find it at Walmart, the Rule Kings, Shields, and all that. But this steel shot was very hard to find. And it's not a full ounce because steel is lighter than lead. But you always in 16 gauge will have the 2 3/4 inch length. You will never have a 3-inch shell in 16 gauge unless some company comes out with a gun that has a 3-inch chamber. They're all 2 3/4. But with this 12 gauge, you have a 3-inch shell and you have your 1.25 ounce 4-shot. Now, 4-shot, your pellet size is bigger, and I would recommend that bigger pellet size to help it carry further for steel, because steel can blow around a lot easier from what I've found goose hunting and when I've been out pheasant hunting on state property that requires non-toxic shot. And the number 4s are really good. I've tried the 5s. I haven't really liked them that much, and I wouldn't go any lower than that unless I was maybe on quail or on dove, and then I would definitely go 7.5 or 8. But honestly, with this 20 gauge steel shot, you're not. This was bought quite a while ago, so this price isn't, I don't think, is accurate. I'm not sure if it's high or low, but I know that's not the right price. And anyways, these are about $20 a box, and these I'm sure are around 25 now. But you're going to be able to find the 20 and 12 and steel a lot better. And for duck hunting, depending on what you want, I've shot the 12s, and I like the 12s, and I haven't shot the 20s, but I'm sure that they work fine. I know a lot of people who are really good shots like the 20s because it's more of a challenge and everything else. But you have to call them in farther or closer to your blind. But for pheasant hunting, you're not going to see much difference between the 12 and 20 steel shot, in my opinion, in terms of knockdown power and range, just because they're only 1/8 of an ounce of a difference. But I think if you're going with a big group, I would go with the 12 because most everybody else is going to be shooting 12. So if you need to borrow ammo, you can. But if you're going with a small group or you're not going to go through a lot of ammo, I definitely recommend carrying a 20 all day instead of a 12. I know my 12 gauge over and under is like 9 pounds. So compared to my 20 gauge over and under, which is 7, and my 16 gauge, which is 5.5 pounds. So, I mean, go with what you want, but 12 is really good. The 20 is really good for steel, but I would stay away from 16 gauge steel shot. It's pretty expensive, hard to find, and it's not quite the best, like, round altogether. Well, thanks for watching, comment, and subscribe.